Question number 30 on the reading portion of College Board's Test 5. Which statement is best supported by the information provided in Figure 1? Okay, so what's Figure 1 saying? That's this figure. As always, don't try to understand what it is before you look at the answer choices. Just with these questions, just check and see, is A, B, C, D, are these true or not true based on the graph? Which one is best supported by the information? So let's read. The organic yield as a percentage of conventional yield is greater for vegetables than for fruits. What? All right, let's understand this. The organic yield for vegetables is greater for fruit. The organic yield as a percent. The organic yield. So organic yield as percentage of conventional yield by crop type. That's the title. Title's important, and then obviously this is important. Any words underneath the graphs are important, as well as the keys. At 100%, the organic yield is the same as the conventional yield. Okay, so I guess like at this line, 100% means that the organic and conventional yields are exactly the same. The number of observations for each crop type is shown in parentheses, how many times they observe it. So realize this graph is measuring organic yield as percent of conventional yield. So we're trying to see, remember from the passage, organic crops produce less than the conventional agriculture. So typically, we're going to, mathematically now we have to think a little bit. If we are talking about percentage of organic compared to conventional, we know that that percentage is going to be less than 1 or less than 100% because there's fewer crops per land for organic than for conventional. So that's why if you look at all these numbers, they're all below 100 because that makes sense because the organic yield is going to be lower or it's going to be like 90% or 80% or 60% of the conventional yield. So just so we understand this, like let's just like, I don't know, if this is like 64%, that means that if the conventional yield produced 100 crops, this vegetable, 82, is going to produce 64 crops. It's 64% of the conventional yield. So what was this question asking? Now that I have a good idea what this is about now. The organic yield as a percent of conventional fruit is greater for vegetables than for fruit. Is that true? Is it greater for vegetables than it is for fruit? That is not true. Because if we look, fruit is here, vegetables is here. Is the yield for vegetables, which is at 64%, I don't know, I just made that up, 70%, is this, again, I'm just using the x-axis here, is the yield for vegetables greater than fruit? No, the yield for fruit is greater than vegetables because the yield for fruit is like 90-something%. It's just lagging behind the conventional agriculture. And that, I think, was verified in line 55. For rainwater legumes and perennial crops like fruit trees, organic trailed conventional by 5%. Yet, vegetables were lagging by more than 25%. So I know they're not talking about the passage, but this nicely corroborates the information in the passage that fruit has a higher yield for organic than vegetables do when compared to conventional agriculture. So we can't say that the organic yield for vegetables is greater than for fruit. It's not. The organic yield for fruit is greater than vegetables. It can't be A. And that's like a logical tongue twister. You have to just like make sure you're steady. What about B? Which statement best supported by the information is figure 1? B. The organic yield as a percentage of conventional yield is similar for cereals and all crops. The organic yield as a percentage of conventional yield is similar for cereals and all crops. So if we take a look at the yield for cereals, which is this, is similar to the yield for all crops. That is true. It's the same yield. It's on the same x coordinate. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what to say. It's just saying like cereals. What's the yield? And what's the yield for all crops? All crops, you know, whatever this is going to be, 70%, and cereal also like 70%. Yeah, it's going to be true. Take a look at the other ones. Realize why the other ones are wrong. What else? C. The reported number of observations for each crop type exceeds 82. Not true. Fruit is 14. So that's not true. The organic yield as a percentage of conventional yield is greater for vegetable crops than for oilseed. The organic yield as compared to conventional is greater for vegetables than for oilseed. vegetables than for oilseed. Is vegetables bigger than oilseed? No, oilseed is bigger than vegetables. So just like A is wrong, D is also wrong. A can't be it, C can't be it, D can't be it logically. The only one that's factually true is going to be B. The answer to 30 is B.